Superannuation and advising clients about superannuation is a key focus of 360 Financial Vision. In fact, we've been assisting our clients with establishment of superannuation funds for more than 35 years. So we were there at the beginning, and we've seen a lot of changes in superannuation. I'm joined this morning by Sally Curtis, financial planner and superannuation specialist. Good morning, Sally.
Good morning.
Can you please just tell us, what is superannuation?
Superannuation is a pool of savings that's specifically for retirement funding. And really it's no different from any other savings that you might have. It just has a different roof over it. That is the superannuation law. And for most people, it will be their biggest investment or biggest asset other than their own home.
And does everyone have super?
No, not everybody does have super. There are quite a few people in our community that would not have super, and these might include people who don't work, women who have a broken work pattern may have less superannuation, people who are unemployed, and even people who are self-employed may not have put money aside into super.
So you're suggesting that people don't have enough super?
That would be true for most people in our country, that yes, they may have some super, but they most likely would not have enough to properly fund their retirement in the lifestyle that they would like to have. And
can people have superannuation and also receive government Centrelink benefits?
There is certainly an interaction between superannuation and Centrelink, and it's an area where seeking advice would be very appropriate for many people. Yes, you can have superannuation, and yes, you can be receiving Centrelink benefits.
Right, and I suppose, like everything, it's the planning that and making sure you start early with superannuation that can provide the real benefits.
Well, that's right. Starting early is certainly a benefit for building up your savings for retirement, but also seeking advice about how you structure that, whether you use a public offer fund or whether you might want to use a self-managed fund. That's certainly important, and then also how do you want to invest those savings?
Right, and I suppose there's a crossover there with insurance, isn't it? You could have insurance inside super, or you could have insurance outside super, and there's probably some good rationale for having certain insurance in particular places.
Yes, John, that's certainly true, that there are cost benefits in having superannuation. No, sorry, I got that one wrong.
Yeah.
It is cost effective to have insurance in superannuation. For instance, that you might get group insurance rates, which would lower the premium.
Right. It's sort of it's traditional in accounting practices to think of superannuation as being something that's driven by the taxation benefits. Can you just explain some of those benefits briefly to me?
Well, first we have to distinguish between the two different phases in super. There's the accumulation phase where people are building their savings, and then there's the pension phase when they're drawing down those savings. So in the accumulation phase, contributions that go into superannuation, certain types of contributions are tax deductible. Those would be the contributions your employer makes, or if you're self-employed. And inside superannuation, in the accumulation phase, the income in there is certainly taxed. In the pension phase, it's quite different. A person drawing from their superannuation can be doing that in a tax-effective manner, and after the age of 60, it is tax-free.
Right, and what about having your cake and eating it as well? Is there a bit of that happens in the superannuation area?
Yes, there is potential for people to be able to continue working, but also access their superannuation benefits. And of course, we're talking there about a transition to retirement pension, which does provide benefits for certain people.
And what about if I've got a lot of assets outside superannuation, but I'm convinced that superannuation is the area where I need to place these assets? Can I get those assets into superannuation?
Yes, you certainly can. There are restrictions. The government does place restrictions on how much you can put into super each year. And we certainly give guidance to our clients there to make sure they don't exceed those limits. Certainly getting cash into superannuation is very easy, so putting money in there moves money from where you might be paying tax on it into an environment that becomes more tax effective.
I've read something about being able to buy property in superannuation, within superannuation, and borrow money. Are you familiar with that arrangement?
Yes, certainly at 360 Financial Vision, we have quite an experience in that potential strategy. It is only something you can do with a self-managed superannuation fund, and there are restrictions around the borrowing rules.
Right,
and
so
being able to buy property within that fund.
Okay, so self-managed super funds don't suit everybody?
No, that's correct. They're not for everybody. We would be advising clients that the minimum starting point would be about $200,000 in superannuation, but for a husband and wife couple, that may be something that's quite achievable for them. But also, those people need to be well suited to that style. They need to have an interest in their savings, and an interest in their investments.
You're a financial planner, and throughout this conversation, I haven't heard anything about investing people's money.
That's right, John. It's strategy always comes first. How you invest your money is the next decision.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Sally, and I'm sure we'll go forward at 360 Financial Vision, working in the self-managed super fund and superannuation area. Thank you.
Thanks, John.